Oh, the orange line, you know it, right? The one that was elevated and then was turned to the underground back in 1987. Yeah, that one. Yeah, we're going to be talking about that again today. We're going to be putting all of the orange line stations in the meme tier list because honestly, why the hell not? I mean, I thought of this a while ago and I was like, oh my god, this would be perfect because quite honestly, I have ranked some of the stations as some of my personal favorites, and I was like, you know what, I'll just rank all of them because why not? I mean, we're going to be ranking them in the tier list, which is going to be S, A, B, C, D, E, and F. The best being S and the worst being F. Now, let's go ahead and just get started with Forest Hills. So to start off this tier list video, we're going to start with the station of Forest Hills. And quite honestly, I think that the design of the Forest Hills is nice, although when I have explored it, it's nice, but it kind of feels cramped, especially when the station is full of people and there are two trains on either side. It feels incredibly cramped, and that is particularly because it's enclosed and there's not much natural light that gets in. Quite honestly, there's really just platform and that's kind of it. What else am I going to be ranking this in? Well, we're going to be talking about rail fanability. And well, when it comes to rail fanability, overall, there isn't that much rail fanability on Forest Hills. The only way you really can get it is by stepping all the way to the edge of the platform. And number one, that's dangerous because if you fall in, you're going to get in trouble. And number two, you could touch the third rail, and that's a no-no. And number two, you're just going to get yelled at if you try to do that. So, quite honestly, Forest Hills is not the best rail fanning station. And if I were to rank Forest Hills, I would put it in a C rank on the tier list. Well, if those of you would disagree with me, tell me in the comments. I would love to hear you. Oh, by the way, this is all my own opinion, and I am entitled to my own opinion, so please respect this. I forgot to let you guys know this. Anyway, moving on. Next up is Green Street. Now, what do I think of Green Street? And quite honestly, I think that Green Street is a very, very well designed station. It's a pleasure to stand at, and quite honestly, the seating is pretty good, but I absolutely love the station design. I love the overhang with the steel like archway things that kind of hold up this massive like iron roof, if you might call it. I absolutely love that design aspect of the Southwest Corridor, and I think they did a really good job with it. And quite honestly, coverage is pretty good when you're underneath the overhang, and it's really nice on rainy days and stuff, because if you're standing under that overhang, you're protected from rain, snow, thunderstorm. And quite honestly, I think Green Street is a really good station to kind of just stand around in, and I was standing there the other day and I absolutely loved it. It's a nice station. As for rail fanability, it offers an amazing, and I mean absolutely amazing view down the Southwest Corridor facing towards Forest Hills. If you go to the far edge there's just like one little box there, and you just have the railing, and then you can just see right out down the tracks. It's absolutely amazing, and I absolutely love that about Green Street. And another thing that I absolutely love about Green Street is that you can hear the iron on iron ricochet that the tracks make when the trains are running down them. When the train gets closer to Green Street, you can hear it, and it just sounds like amazing. I absolutely love the sound, and the fact that you can hear it from Green Street is just amazing. And also, you can see the commuter rail going by from the platform, which is another perk. So, with that being said, I'm going to put Green Street at an S tier on the list. And, well, let's move on. So, moving on to the next station here, we have Stony Brook. And Stony Brook is interesting in a few ways because it's a nice station with a lot of good perks, honestly. Sure, it's not the same as Green Street with the exposed outer design with the archways and everything, but it's a nice station and it's spacious inside. It has a long expansive platform, and the actual station design up top is actually really nice. I like the artwork mural on the curve there after going through the sliding gates thing. I love that mural there. As for rail fanability, Stony Brook offers you a slew of places to look for the trains. Number one being the very edge of the platform, the second being the window, and it's an absolutely amazing view of the tracks and the trains coming by. And there's also that glass section there above the tracks. That's also another cool place to take a look at the trains from. And also, The stairway there with the bricks, they don't have a guard on the side there, which you can peek your head out and see it coming through. It's really, really cool. And overall, I think Stony Brook is a really decent station. However, it's not as epic as Green Street, so I'm going to put Stony Brook as an A on the tier list here. Moving on to Jackson Square. Yeah, this one, Jackson Square is a bit of a, in my opinion, the sketchiest station on the Southwest Corridor. Now, you might be wondering, oh, why? What's the problem with Jackson Square? It's a nice station and whatnot. Well, look, you might like Jackson Square for what it is and whatnot, but me, I have a particular problem with Jackson Square. Number one, the station looks really run down in my opinion. Overall, the station has kind of deteriorated. It's dark, it's unappealing, and quite honestly, the amount of crimes that have been committed outside of Jackson Square just make it really, really unnerving, if that's the correct word, if you might. Given that, I don't really like it. And just another thing is that, hey guys, it's Post Editor Nick here. I just wanted to also point out that the other day when I was filming this, I saw someone puke in a trash can at Jackson Square, which just gives me another reason to dislike the station, because you just have weird people like that around. And yes, I was very confused. The platform's rather boring, okay? Just deal with it, alright? Platform's boring, station's sketchy, it's placed on an E on the tier list. Moving on. Moving on to the next station on the line here, we have Roxbury Crossing, which quite honestly, I have a special place for Roxbury Crossing in my heart. Because, honestly, it takes the same great design of Green Street and just makes it it's basically a duplicate of Green Street. It's an amazingly designed station with the same overhang, and you still have that amazing view of the tracks going towards, if you're facing towards Forest Hills, you can see the absolutely amazing tracks, you can see the trains going by. But with Roxbury Crossing, you actually even have a better view of the commuter rail from the Orange Line platform. And if this was even possible, I would put it above Green Street simply because you can hear the iron-on-iron ricochet a lot better at Roxbury Crossing a lot better than you can at Green Street. And you have a better view of the Orange Line going by, as well as the commuter rail. And also, the station just feels nice and cozy. I mean, you know, it's just like, it's a nice place to be. But what can I say? I love Roxbury Crossing. And with that, Roxbury Crossing gets an S on the tier list. And moving on to the next station, we have Ruggles. I cannot tell you. I think Ruggles is like the coolest name for a stop that I've ever heard. Like seriously, like, and with that being said, Ruggles, having the really cool name that it has, it's well designed and it's not really that exposed. Although when you're facing the Oak Grove side, you have that sort of big hump there out of the concrete, and it's kind of just open to the elements, and it can be rather cold during the rain and winter. And yeah, that's really it design wise for Ruggles. As for rail fanability, you can see the commuter rail somewhat well from either side, although I would say facing towards Oak Grove, you can see the commuter rail a bit better. If you look down the Forest Hills side, down the tunnel, you can see pretty well. And if you look down the side towards Mass Ave, you can also kind of see, but it's kind of blocked in the way by the signal boxes and electrical wiring stuff required there. So, and other than that, it's really not all that much else at Ruggles. And with that being said, Ruggles gets a B on the tier list, and I'm sorry for all you Ruggles fans out there. Anyway, moving on. Next stop, we have Mass Ave. Now, Massachusetts Avenue is, it's a cool station, and quite honestly, it's designed really well. The interior of the station is really expansive. It's a nice open station, and you feel like you have a lot of room when you're in Mass Ave. And then when you go into the platform, it's nice and long. You still have the same overhang similar to that of Roxbury Crossing and Green Street. But the best thing is that you also have pretty good rail fanability from the station as well. I mean, if you look down towards Ruggles, you can see pretty far down, and an added benefit of this station is that the overpass for an emergency exit or normal exit of the station facing towards Ruggles, you can get an absolutely amazing view of the trains from there. You can both see the commuter rail and the orange line going by, and it's just, I absolutely love that overpass. You can get to the overpass without having to pay a fare. However, if you're on the platform and you try to go to that overpass, you do have to exit through a turnstile thing that does not allow you to get back in, so you have to go back around and pay your fare to get back into the station, unfortunately. But other than that, it's a pretty good railfan spot. And looking down the tunnel towards Back Bay, you also have a pretty good view. Although that's kind of getting in a bit of a risky zone, you know, because you're getting really close to the edge and whatnot. And yeah, I wouldn't recommend going towards the edge. And an added bonus to this is that you can also go to Subway before you go railfanning, because there is a Subway built right in to Mass Ave, which is pretty cool. So if you're hungry and you want to get a Subway sandwich, just stop at Subway and then go watch the Subway. Ah, Jesus. And with that being said, Mass Ave gets an A on the tier list. Moving on to the next station, we have Back Bay. And I'm just going to put this blatant and simple right now. Back Bay is boring, okay? Yeah, I know it has commuter rail connections and everything, but it's just boring, okay? You have no railfan ability, it's dark, it's cramped, and it's just... Last time I was there, it smelled. It didn't smell good. Quite honestly, I don't think it's worth talking about it anymore, so Back Bay gets an F on the tier list. Moving on. Next up, we have Tufts Medical Center, which quite honestly is big. Tufts Medical Center is a really big station. It's made of entirely brick, and it's completely 100% underground. And quite honestly, I think that Tufts Medical Center is really cool, particularly because of how big it is. It creates a really loud echoing sound when you're on the platform. And given that and the sounds that the 1200 makes, it just makes the experience at Tufts Medical Center just like 1,000 times better. No, not 1,000, like 1,000,000 times better. Editor, play some clips of some trains at Tufts Medical Center, and you'll all see why I love it so much. As for railfan ability, it's meh. I mean, sure, you can see a little bit on either side of the platform and whatnot, and you can kind of see down the tunnels, but other than that, you're not really getting that much. You might be saying, oh, but there are those glass sections on there. Well, I'm just gonna go ahead and just tell you, yeah, you can't look through that glass there, because they put like, I don't know, they put like that adhesive like sticker thing on there to like prevent you from seeing. I don't know why they did this. It's just like, I guess they hate rail fanners apparently. Just like, first of all, MBTA, ow, that kind of hurt my self-esteem that you're trying to block us out here. It hurts. But yeah, you have those white adhesive panels on the glass there that prevent you from really seeing. The only way how you can really see through the glass there is like peeking through like the bottom portion of the glass, and even then it's like really dirty, and I would not recommend it. And other than that, you get somewhat good views of the trains from the staircases, but other than that, it's not really that special. And quite honestly, Tufts Medical Center it's good and whatnot. It's a nice station, but I would honestly just give it a C on the tier list simply because it doesn't have that good railfan ability aspect. And anyway, next stop we have is Chinatown. Now, Chinatown is a very interesting station here. It's a very elegant station, and I absolutely love the cool quirks that it has, because I honestly think Chinatown is one of the coolest designed stations, because you have the Forest Hills platform, then you have the Oak Grove platform, and when the Forest Hills train is coming by, if you're all the way on the far end of the Oak Grove platform, you can see it coming down the curve from Downtown Crossing to Chinatown, and it's absolutely amazing. And before they did track work on the curve of Chinatown, you could actually hear the god-awful screeching that the trains made when they went by. Editor, just put up a clip here so you all can know what this sounded like, because quite honestly, it's just agony. You thought the Green Line was worse? No, this is worse. And yeah, so you get that view, and also if you're on like the middle or something, there's also like the pillars and cross-section beams that are also present at Downtown Crossing, but you can also see it in Chinatown, so you can see the top and a little bit of the top of the doors on the trains as they go by, and you can get a pretty good view from there. And other than that, it's a pretty cool design station. And I would also say that I also love the mosaic tiles that they put on for like the benches and everything. I absolutely love that about Chinatown. I think it has the coolest bench design of any other station, and quite honestly, I love it. So now that I've said all those great things about Chinatown, where does this put Chinatown on the tier list? Well, let me just change all of your opinions real quickly. Now, given all those positive things I just said about Chinatown, there is one painstaking negative that nobody can deny that makes Chinatown the worst station on the Orange Line. Now listen to me on this one. Let me just say, every station on the Orange Line has some way of letting you get to one side or the other without leaving the station and having to pay again. Chinatown does not have this option. To get from the Oak Grove platform to the Forest Hills platform, you have to leave the station, go up on the surface, cross the street, pay your fare again, and then wait on the platform for the train. That is the most god-awful design choice they have ever taken for a station. That's what pisses me off so much about Chinatown, because one time I was trying to go somewhere. This was like years ago, by the way. I was trying to go somewhere, and I went on one side of the Chinatown platform, and I was like, oh shit, wait, this is the wrong side. And I was like, oh wait, I'll just go to another side then. And I look around and I'm like, shit, there's no way to get around here. And then when I exited the station, I then realized I just paid $1.60 to realize that I was on the wrong side. So then I had to pay $1.60 again to get on the right side. And then, quite honestly, that is the stupidest design choice for a station I have ever seen. And people on my Discord server have said that there used to be like a pass-through that used to exist at Chinatown but has been closed off for like eons or something. Well, if the rumors are true, MBTA, please open up the overpass to Chinatown, Forest Hills to Chinatown, Oak Grove, because quite honestly, nobody should pay their fare twice for just fucking up and getting on the wrong side of the platform. That's just stupid. And you might be wondering, have I tried to get into the other side without paying my fare? Trust me, I have. Those transit ambassadors, I'm gonna be one soon, will not let you through. Given that, Chinatown goes in the F tier list. I'm not sorry, okay? I love Chinatown's design, but the fact that you have to pay your fare again just to get on one side or the other is stupid, alright? With that being said, moving on.